Please welcome Ray Miller with An Unclear Vision.
In the beginning, I had an unclear vision. I was on a field and I had a coach, and the coach was giving me advice and telling me to do all various things. Run faster, bunt the ball, pay attention, catch the ball. Watching the game happen. The voice in my head, the way this coach explained the expectations to me, was this is how I was going to succeed at the game that I was playing. It wasn't an empowering vision, because all I could see in the advice that they were giving me was how I was not succeeding, how I was not reaching my or our team goals. In another time at the start, I'm on a beach, rather large beach with thousands and thousands of other people in a very different field. And I swim and I bike and I run. And the coach was there with me too. The voice in my head during this event said the same things. Run harder, run slower, recover. Catch that person. Let that person pass me. What the coach gave me in that voice, and the voice in my head, was forgiving though. And what that voice gave me was how I could succeed and how I would define success. Both of these coaches had very different backgrounds. One of them, the first coach, was my softball coach. I was 13 years old and I stumbled and I tripped and I was not comfortable in my environment in that game. It was a social experiment in grade 7. Not a positive experience as a coach. The second time was in 2010 when I was doing Ironman Canada. And my coach I'd been training with for a couple of years by that point had taught me from being a non-runner to learning how to run 10K and then half marathon and then full marathon. And then she taught me how to swim. And all the way through the race, through Ironman Canada, from beginning to end, she wasn't teaching me how to win. She was teaching me how I would succeed. And I ran that race in 12 hours and 33 minutes, an hour faster than I had expected to. The difference between these coaches for me, and this is how coaching lands for me, is the voice in my head defines my experience. And if the voice in my head is supporting that experience, then I'm on board for it. And I will work really, really hard to get to the end of it. And if that voice is not supporting what the experience in my head is, then I'm out of the moment and I'm just frustrated and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So these are two definitions, or one definition, of what a good coach would be for me. When I joined Toastmasters in 2013, it was kind of a vague program. They gave me a couple books and said, do some speeches and do some speeches and do some speeches. I remember giving my first table topic, or my first table topic speech, my first meeting. I won the vote at the end of the meeting. And it was fun. It got me rolling. I did my first icebreaker and I explained my background and my story a little bit. But there was really no definition, really no goal for as I was working through the path. When Toastmasters rolled out the Pathways program in 2018, though, I had been around long enough that they'd asked me to be the VP of Education. So I had a vision in my head of, okay, this is what this program is going to be, and I need to engage with it. So I abandoned that old path. And when I took the survey and it said you should do effective coaching, I thought, well, geez, I've got an entire club that I need to become successful. So yeah, that one fit. That one was the right path for me to take. And I engaged with it for the first 13 months of 2018 and early 2019. I did 13 speeches. I finished 3 levels in that first year, which was, for me, incredible progress. The rest of the club, less so. Some people engaged with it, some people resisted, but it was a challenge to get people to engage with this vision. And that caused me to stumble, and the voice in my head now reflected back at me. And I was challenged to move past that level 3, because these speeches, these projects became more complex and more complex and more complex, and I really needed another coach. But in the process, while I was finishing these last 2 levels, I ended up coaching a lot of other people, not necessarily related to the path. I delivered 2 workshops on how to use Zoom. I delivered speeches. I was an area director. I was a division director. And I remember some coaching that I gave to a club when I was area director about table topics evaluations. And I explained to them why the table topics evaluator was an important role, not for the club, but for the evaluator, and what strengths they are working on as an evaluator for table topics. I listed for this club, for the executive committee, because the way they were using that role was they were splitting the entire club into little groups and assigning one evaluator for each of those groups to give individualized feedback to each table topic speaker. And I said, that's great. I love how that works for the individual speakers, but what does the evaluator get? What the evaluator gets from table topics, I explained, is they get practice in time-constrained evaluation, getting a large group of people giving a large number of speeches, and how do you give them individualized feedback in a time-constrained space? This is one of the strengths that that particular role had available for that club. And the next time I visited them, they had put those changes in effect, and they still did it sometimes the other way. But the main way that I had explained, and their table topics evaluations got better. That hit. I felt like a success in coaching that club as their area director. So I had lots and lots of wins throughout the course of my area director and division director role through a very challenging time, really. But I still struggled on my own effective coaching completing path. I needed a coach, somebody to help me work on the projects that I needed to finish. Now, in order for me to get to this point, to finish this path, I had to finish level 4, and I had to finish level 5. Level 4 made itself easy, oddly enough, because of the pandemic, hosting online meetings, getting all of the requirements together for helping clubs do. I did those through electives. Level 5, a little bit more challenging. And the one that I stumbled on for level 5 was that high performance leadership program. And the change happened for me with that particular project when I talked to a really good coach. I sat down and had a discussion, and I explained what I had been doing and why I hadn't got this project done, because the vision in my head was unclear. I was not clear in my vision of how I was going to make this happen. You know what this coach said? You have already done all of the work. Why aren't you just doing the speech? This project is done. Ask the question. Give the speech. High performance leadership has been done. For context, of course, the project that I did as my high performance leadership project was taking over the District 96 YouTube channel. I put, I don't know how many dozens and hundreds of hours into editing videos over the course of a year. I took the channel from 120 subscribers up to 340 subscribers. I took the channel from 22 public videos up to 120, I think, are now, including workshops. I taught myself how to edit videos. I taught myself how to edit audio. What kind of a high performance leadership project is that? Dozens of presenters, including some that are in this room. The voice in my head from that coach was supportive. And it narrated in my head what success looked like. And that's the lesson I'm taking from this effective coaching path. To be an effective coach, you have to be able to clarify, to be able to show what success looks like and make it attainable and believable for the person that is being coached. And there has to be an explicit agreement, approval even, that the coach has my best interests in mind, and that they understand that when you finish Ironman, you win. It doesn't matter if you beat everybody else. It has nothing to do with everybody else on the course. Doing the work. And the coach helped me see the value in that work. That, fellow Toastmasters, is what an effective coach can do. And that's the takeaway that I bring with me from this path, which has now taken me over 4 years to complete. Fellow Toastmasters, I thank you for hearing my story.
You have been on. I'm just wrapping my head around all of that Ironman stuff for a start. And yes, you did do an amazing project that really helped District 96 with all of the YouTube stuff and all the recording. And I know that many of the things I've been involved with have ended up on there because you took the interest to do that and to talk with some of us about it. So thank you.